life-changing power of solitude. We live in a world filled with constant noise, endless distractions, notifications, social pressures. Most people fear being alone. They confuse solitude with loneliness. But what if I told you that solitude is not emptiness, it's power? For years, I avoided solitude. I thought being alone meant being disconnected. But as I went deeper into my spiritual journey, I discovered solitude is one of the most powerful forces for inner transformation. In this video, I'll share my personal journey with solitude, ancient wisdom on why solitude is so sacred, modern day examples, what science now confirms, and how you can unlock the life changing power of solitude in your own life. By the end of this video, you may never look at being alone the same way again. Let's first clear up a common misunderstanding. Most people associate solitude with loneliness, isolation, sadness. We live in a society that glorifies constant connection, busy schedules, being always available. But solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is feeling empty in the presence of others or absence of others. Solitude is feeling full even when you are alone. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a space for reconnection. Let me share my personal journey, how solitude changed my life. For much of my early life, I was rarely alone, always working, always around people, always chasing. I feared silence because silence forced me to face myself. But life has a way of guiding us where we need to go. My health crisis forced me into stillness. Suddenly, I couldn't keep up with my previous pace. There were long days with no distractions, no noise, just me and my thoughts. At first, it was uncomfortable, but slowly something shifted. The noise inside me quieted. I noticed my breath. I became present. Insights began to rise from within. In solitude, I discovered parts of myself I never knew existed. The healing didn't come from doing more, it came from being still. Solitude became my teacher. Traditional teachings on the power of solitude. Throughout history, spiritual masters have emphasized solitude as essential for awakening. Hinduism, the yogis in the Himalayas. For thousands of years, yogis retreated into the mountains not to escape life, but to connect more deeply with it. In the silence of the Himalayas, they sought union with the divine. Buddhism, the forest monks. Buddhist monks often live alone in nature, practicing mindfulness in silence. The Buddha himself meditated in solitude under the Bodhi tree, where he attained enlightenment. Christianity, the desert fathers. In early Christianity, men and women retreated into the desert to live in solitude, seeking union with God. Saint Anthony of Egypt said, "When we are alone, we are never alone, for God is with us." Sufism, the practice of Khalwa. In Sufism, Khalwa is a retreat into solitude where the mystic removes all distractions to focus fully on the beloved, God. Rumi wrote, "Don't run away from solitude. The moment you become still, you'll hear the divine." Let's take a modern day example. Even in today's world, many have discovered the transformative power of solitude. The executive who found peace. A high level executive I once knew lived in constant busyness, meetings, deadlines, noise. Eventually, burnout hit. His doctor prescribed not medication, but time alone. He began spending 1 hour daily in silent reflection. Slowly, his anxiety decreased, his clarity improved, his creativity returned. He later told me, "In solitude, I finally heard my own voice again." What science now confirms about solitude? Modern science now confirms what mystics have known for centuries. One, brain rest and creativity. Studies show that solitude activates the brain's default mode network responsible for self reflection, insight, and creativity, allows complex problem solving and deep thinking. Two, emotional regulation. Quiet time helps balance cortisol, stress hormone, heart rate, nervous system function. Three, neuroplasticity. During solitude, the brain reorganizes information, emotional healing accelerates. Four, increased intuition. In silence, we access the subconscious mind more deeply, allowing intuition to rise. The gut feeling often emerges strongest in still moments. What happens spiritually in solitude? Beyond mental benefits, something powerful happens spiritually. One, the ego quietens. When the world's noise fades, your ego's voice grows silent. You stop being your roles, labels, and identities. Two, the true self emerges. In stillness, your soul whispers. You feel connected, whole, supported by something greater. Three, divine presence. In solitude, many feel the presence of God, source, or universal consciousness. You realize you were never alone, you simply weren't listening. Four, inner healing. Buried emotions surface gently. You meet your wounds with compassion, allowing them to dissolve. Five, spiritual clarity. Decisions that once confused you become clear. Your inner compass strengthens. Why most fear solitude? Despite its power, many people avoid solitude because they fear facing their own thoughts. They associate being alone with abandonment. They're addicted to external validation. They confuse busyness with meaning. I too once ran from solitude, but I learned the discomfort at the beginning is not danger, it's detox. It's the shedding of the false self, the parable of the still pond. Imagine a pond disturbed by constant waves. You cannot see your reflection. The water is restless. But when the waves settle, the water becomes clear. You finally see yourself fully. Solitude is like stilling that pond. Only when the external noise fades can you clearly see your inner truth. How to practice solitude daily. You don't need to live in a monastery to benefit from solitude. Here's how I practice. One morning silence. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning sitting quietly. No phone, no agenda, just breathe. Two, nature walks. Walk alone in nature, let your senses awaken. Three, digital detox. Set times where you disconnect fully from social media, news, devices. Four, journaling. Write freely, express emotions, record insights, ask questions. Five, retreat days. Occasionally schedule a full day of solitude, read, reflect, meditate, walk. In these sacred pauses, transformation happens. Solitude is no longer something I fear, it's something I crave. It's where I hear my soul, where I find my center, where I reconnect with the divine. Even today, when I feel overwhelmed, I retreat into silence. When decisions feel heavy, I sit alone. When life moves too fast, I slow down in solitude. It's no longer an escape, it's my grounding. The final answer. So, what is the life changing power of solitude? Solitude reconnects you to your essence, it clears your mind, it opens your heart, it strengthens your spirit, it allows you to meet God, Source, or your true self directly. In a world obsessed with noise, solitude is a revolutionary act. You don't need more to become whole, you need less distraction to realize you already are whole. If this message resonated with you, share your experiences with solitude in the comments. How has time alone shaped your growth? Let's build a community that honors the power of stillness together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who needs to rediscover the gift of solitude. Until next time, stay still, stay open, and keep returning to yourself.